The philosophy of the Akatsuki. More specifically, how did each member see the world and what was their plan to change it? The Akatsuki that I am using is the one introduced to us at the beginning of Shippuden, plus Orochimaru and Obito. The list is in no specific order, but I will make an attempt to save some of the more interesting viewpoints till the end. Obviously I can't go super deep into every single member, or else this video would be 2 years long, so I am just going to explore each character and their views briefly. First up, Kakazu. Kakazu is originally from the village hidden in the waterfalls. Kakazu was a loyal ninja until he failed a mission to assassinate the first Hokage, Hashirama. Despite the mission being near impossible, he was painfully punished for failing his mission and began to despise the village. Eventually, this led to him stealing the village's forbidden jutsu, Earth Grudge Fear, and stealing the hearts of the village elder. Kakazu was a bounty hunter on the black market for 3 generations, whilst keeping himself alive by stealing the organs of other ninjas. Kakazu became an extremely greedy individual. He wouldn't put any effort towards anything that he couldn't gain from, and he even said that money is the only dependable thing in the world. After being punished by the very people that he gave his life for, he began to dislike and refuse to trust others. It is no wonder that he decided to put his faith in currency, since he knew that he couldn't be directly betrayed by it. Next is Hidan. Hidan is from the Hidden Steam Village. Over time, the village slowly became a tourist destination, and this enraged Hidan. He felt that the people there were meant to kill, and with that, Hidan packed his bags, slaughtered his neighbors, and left the village to join the religion of Joshin. No surprise here, but the main teaching of this faith is utter destruction and death. Hidan was granted immortality through his religion, and eventually joined the Akatsuki to continue killing and destroying everything in his path. It's clear that when his village turned into a tourist destination, this drove him to insanity. From that point on, all he valued was killing. Sasori of the Red Sand. Sasori grew up in the village hidden in the sand. Early on in Sasori's life, both of his parents were killed in battle. This caused him to want to create things that last forever. Sasori's grandmother, Lady Chiyo, introduced him to puppets not long after his parents' deaths. This led him to obsess over puppets, create puppets resembling his mother and father, and then eventually turn his only friend into an actual human puppet. Sasori even used this method to turn the third Kazekage into a puppet as he left the hidden sand, and he eventually turned himself into a puppet, only keeping his heart. Sasori didn't handle his grief well, and he was obsessed with becoming immortal and creating works that would last forever after figuring out what had happened to his parents. Deidara. Deidara grew up in the village hidden in the stone as a pupil of the third Tsuchikage. He was highly praised for his clay sculptures and a proud member of the village's explosion corps. Deidara wanted more, and this eventually led him to stealing forbidden jutsu that allowed him to infuse chakra into an item. Deidara defeated his pursuers with his new clay explosives, and from that point forward was in love with his new art of a single moment. This is the art that Deidara was in search of, and from this point forward, he considered art to be an explosion. Deidara became a rogue ninja who would offer services as a bomber to various countries. Eventually, the Akatsuki came along, desiring his help. He agreed on the condition that Itachi could beat him in a fight. Itachi quickly beats Deidara with a genjutsu, which leads him to despise Itachi in the Sharingan. Deidara was an egotistical maniac who wanted nothing more than to prove that his art was superior to all other forms. Art was his life, and he literally went out with a bang after blowing himself up. Zetsu. Black Zetsu is nothing more than an extension of Kaguya's will that was conceived directly before she was sealed into the moon. On the other hand, White Zetsu is what people would turn into if they were connected to the god tree for long enough. Black Zetsu took White Zetsu from the husk of the Ten Tails and tricked Madara into thinking that Zetsu was his creation, and that he, Black Zetsu, was conceived from Madara's will. Black Zetsu spent thousands of years messing with the shinobi world so that he could eventually recreate Kaguya. Obito Uchiha. Obito never knew who his parents were, just like Naruto. Also, just like Naruto, he dreamed of becoming Hokage one day and being acknowledged by everyone in the village. Early on, he became close with a girl named Rin, who he soon fell in love with. Obito soon developed a rivalry with Kakashi, just always being one step behind him and desperately seeking the praise that Kakashi was getting from Rin. During the Third Great Ninja War, the 3 of them were assigned to destroy Kanabi Bridge. During the mission, Obito would get crushed by a pile of boulders while saving Kakashi. Obito then gave Kakashi one of his Sharingan before being completely buried. Obito would eventually wake up in a cave with Madara Uchiha after finding out that he had been saved by White Zetsu. During his time in the cave regaining his strength, Madara would tell Obito about all of the harsh realities of the world and how he would save it, although all Obito cared about was going home and seeing his friends. Near the end of his healing process, White Zetsu alerted Obito that Kakashi and Rin were in trouble. Insistent on helping them, Obito encased himself in one of the White Zetsu bodies and went to help them. Obito got there just as Rin was killed by Kakashi, and he immediately entered a fit of rage and slaughtered all the Hidden Mist Village ninja present. From that day forward, Obito was set on the Eye of the Moon plan so that he, Kakashi, and Rin could be together once again. Obito wasn't a bad person. He was deeply in love with Rin, and when he was given an opportunity to see her again, even if it was an illusion, he was all in. Being alone and having no one to make him realize that what he is doing isn't okay drove Obito to do the crazy things he did. It's no surprise that he acted the way he did, and he even got talked out of it once Naruto reminded him of the right path. Nagato, a descendant of the Uzumaki clan, lived with his parents in a small village near the Hidden Rain village. One day, during the Second Great War, Konoha ninjas entered their house in search of food. Having mistaken Nagato's parents as ninjas, they were killed by the Leaf Ninja. In a fit of rage, Nagato activated the Rinnegan that Madara had implanted in his eyes and killed the Leaf Ninja. Starving during the war period, he would soon meet Yahiko and Konan. They all scavenged together and eventually would meet Jiraiya, who decided he would teach them how to take care of themselves. Jiraiya would eventually head home to the Leaf. Soon after this, the three became full-fledged ninja of the Hidden Rain and decided to help bring about a world without war. Over the course of time, Hanzo, the leader of the Hidden Rain, heard about their organization and decided that they were a threat to his rule. Hanzo tricked him into thinking that he wanted to meet and talk about peace, but in actuality, it was an ambush designed to kill the leader of the group, Yahiko. Yahiko would decide to kill himself to spare Nagato and Konan, and meet Nagato enraged, summon the Geto Mazo statue and use it to kill everyone there except Hanzo. From this day forward, Nagato would be known as Pain. He was committed to making the Hidden Rain village and the rest of the world feel the pain that he had to go through. Nagato lost his way. He lost his leader and the person he thought would change the world, and after that, he lost all hope in creating a new world without using violence. He made the mistake of believing that people can't understand each other unless they know the same pain. Nagato had lost too much and thus created the 6 paths of pain. Konan. I'm not going to go deep into Konan's backstory. She believed that Yahiko, with the help of others, could bring about a peaceful world, and when Yahiko killed himself and left it all up to Nagato, she put her faith in him as well. She supported the people she believed in without question. Itachi Uchiha, the firstborn son of Mikoto and Fugaku Uchiha. Early on in his childhood, Itachi closely witnessed death and destruction and thus became a pacifist. Determined to create a more peaceful world, he decided to try and become an exceptional ninja. At age 5, Itachi trained with Shisui. The two taught each other new things and honed their skills. Soon the Nine-Tails Fox attack occurred, which immediately affected Itachi's life, as it soured the relationship between the Uchiha and the rest of the village. Itachi progressed extremely quickly, graduating from the academy in 5 months, passing the Chunin exams all on his own at 10, and joining the Anbu at 11. The Uchiha eventually became fed up with the way the village was treating them, and decided to plan a coup. Itachi was encouraged to keep climbing the ranks of the Anbu so that the Uchiha could spy on the village from the inside. Itachi knew that this would lead to a war, so Itachi became a double spy and updated the third Hokage about the Uchiha. Eventually it became clear that a peaceful solution wasn't possible. Shisui killed himself after losing one of his eyes to Danzo, and the Uchiha wouldn't listen to Itachi and were fixated on the coup. Itachi had to make a choice, the Uchiha or the village. Itachi chose the village and to save his younger brother. He chose to become the scapegoat and to bear the burden of killing his entire clan. Itachi felt like this was the most peaceful option and that there was no way to spare the Uchiha. Itachi was a man who desperately wanted peace and nothing more and nothing less. He was put in very difficult positions in his life, and he may not have done the best job possible, but he did his best. Kisame. Originally from the village hidden in the mist, Kisame was a ninja under Fuguki, one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. One day, Kisame was tasked with guarding the Cypher Corps, and when he was concerned by Konoha ninja, he was left no choice but to kill them or let valuable information fall into the hands of the Leaf Village. Not long after this, Kisame learned that Fuguki was selling information to other villages and killed him and took his sword. Kisame was commended for these acts of loyalty, but after killing his own people, he felt as if he was living a lie. Soon he was approached by Obito, claiming to be Madara Uchiha, and was told about the Eye of the Moon plan. Kisame was skeptical at first, but soon became a loyal member of the Akatsuki after hearing of a world without lies. Kisame was told to kill his own comrades to protect information, and then later found out that he did it for nothing since the information was already being sold. If all you had to do was kill a few people to create a perfect world, would you not at least consider it, especially after being lied to so heavily? Orochimaru. An orphan and a pupil of Hiruzen, along with Jiraiya and Tsunade. He was a prodigy right off the bat, but due to the death of his parents, Orochimaru had a somewhat twisted view of the world. After seeing a white snake near his parents' grave and being told it was a symbol for fortune and rebirth, he decided to seek out knowledge on all forms of ninjutsu. He began his research immediately, but did it solely for the benefit of the village. Orochimaru became very strong and was given the title of Sannin at the end of the Second Great Shinobi War. After witnessing Tsunade's lover and brother die, he steadily fell into darkness. Orochimaru became less and less ethical with his experiments, and once he wasn't named the 4th Hokage, He felt he had no reason to hide his research anymore. He went full rogue on the village and devoted everything to becoming immortal, which he eventually succeeded in by using the transference ritual. Orochimaru was sick from the start, probably due to the early death of his parents. He wanted to obtain all ninjutsu possible, but saw it as a waste if someday he was just going to drop dead. After seeing the harsh reality of the world, Orochimaru felt there was no reason not to embrace his selfish mindset. If there is one thing you decide to take away from this video, it's to have empathy for your enemies. It's very clear to see that a lot of these villains' actions and thought patterns made sense based on the events of their life. Nobody is born evil, but the way people view the world over time can become tainted when they feel as if they've gotten a bad break or that there is something deeply wrong with the way the world works. Hurt people, and it should be obvious that these villains were all hurt to various degrees. Make an effort to understand people and help give them the ability to change. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like and please leave a comment if you have any thoughts or suggestions below. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed.